Imagine you receive a food hamper. It looks like this: a loaf of bread, some apples, a couple of potatoes, some cheese, a sandwich bag of pasta, and a few high-sugar snacks. Now imagine this is all you had for your child's lunch for the next 10 days. This was a reality for hundreds of thousands of parents across the UK in January 2021, when the free school meal scandal exposed the truth about our welfare system. A system that lacks in care, in dignity of choice, and in love. With no experience of running a charity, I channeled my anger from what I witnessed in the free school meal scandal and founded the Mazi Project. I was 24 at the time, and that's when I began my journey working with marginalised 16 to 25-year-olds. People who were my age, maybe your kids' age, but whose lives are so different. People who lived through the care system. People who saw family members die and were forced to flee their home. People who were homeless, sofa surfing, not knowing where they'd sleep next. And people who fled domestic violence, searching for safety. These experiences make up the lives of many of our members, many of whom would have come from homes that would have received these meagre hampers as a form of government food provision, demonstrating to them from a young age the lack of value they hold in the eyes of our government. And sadly, this devaluing message still persists in the lives of many of our young people today, and it starts each morning with a heavy knowledge that they may not be able to access what is their basic human right: food. In fact, in the United Kingdom, 68% of marginalised young people will go a whole day without food due to a lack of money. And when we take on referrals, we ask our young people how the lack of access to food makes them feel. Angry, depressed, desperate, like I'm in survival mode, embarrassed. I feel like I'm not doing the best for my son. None of the respondents said, "It makes me feel hungry." Why? Because food poverty is so much more than feeling hungry. It's the experience of poverty and the psychological impact of being surrounded by a lack of investment, by physical and mental health challenges that truly affect how our community of young people are able to participate in society. And until decision makers truly recognize the impact of the systemic barriers enforced upon our young people on a daily basis, we will never be able to truly address the root causes of food poverty and of the mental health crisis faced by our young people today. Now, we started cooking in a supported accommodation block in Bristol. It houses 54 young people, each in their own unit, able to access a journey of support, from high level through to independent temporary living. Downstairs, there's a living room, a pool table, and a big communal kitchen. It's quite nice, it's clean, and it's got lots of paintings on the walls with positive affirmations. Lily, our program director, and I go and cook dinner there twice a month. The idea came because we were struggling with engagement. There was a lack of consistent attendance to our supper clubs and our cooking courses. So instead of asking people to come to us, we decided we would go to them. We purposely set no expectations. Just cook with a community with support, listen to what they have to say, and build meaningful relationships. We had a great first session. 5 young people came. Some stayed for the whole time, others for 10 minutes. They even said that Lily and I are a vibe, which is always a good sign. As we were packing up, tension rose in the room next door. People were shouting, split across 2 rooms. And 2 of the girls that we were cooking with came back into the kitchen. One was crying, and the other was spilling with anger. The house manager calmed them down and took them to a room next door. Lucy stayed behind. Lucy's 19, 12 weeks pregnant, and she tells us how much she hates the drama. She remembers the first day she arrived, she saw someone with a knife running towards a security officer, threatening them for information. Police took them away. At least it wasn't as bad as where she used to live, she said. She would never want to go back there. Another day at home. 2 weeks later, we went back to cook again and found out that one of the young men that we were cooking with had been threatened with a knife that very night. The incident was being investigated, and the instigator was immediately evicted. Another day at home. These shared daily realities are very common within all of our members, many of whom would have faced more trauma before their 18th birthday than most do in a lifetime, who might cope with or mask their traumatic experiences with signs that are too quickly and too easily dismissed as antisocial behavior, fueling those negative stereotypes that exclude them from opportunities that harness their passions and their talents. And for this reason, I'm asking for decision makers, for funders, to take a moment, truly hear what our marginalised youth are facing and experiencing. Reflect on the impact of the chaos, the unsafe and insecure housing, the feeling of being excluded and uncared for, all compounded by being undernourished and often struggling with chronic illnesses or pain. Ask yourselves, how can we support our marginalised youth better? I believe it starts with a consistent demonstration of love and care. No matter how big or small, we can make sure that marginalised 16 to 25-year-olds recognize the light in themselves that we see every time we are with them. And I think it starts with food. I grew up in Athens, a place where food is so much more than just sustenance. It's part of our culture, our identity. And even though I didn't have the most traditional Greek upbringing, the community that food and cooking creates innately became a part of me. And as I've got older, I've realized that the way I show love to my friends and family is through food. You're hungry? Oh, you're sad? I will feed you. You're happy? I will feed you. It's about bringing people together, making people feel cared for, which is why I named the organization the Mazi Project. Mazi meaning together in Greek. Now, nearly 5 years later, we've come a long way since that middle of the night idea. Through observing and listening, we've developed a value framework that not only recognizes the unconventional circumstances of our young people, but also celebrates the gentle and caring interactions that we see them share between themselves and with us, as well as their determination to protect one another. At the heart of this value framework are three core pillars: choice, consistency, and community. One of the things that struck me the most when I saw the free school meal hampers was the lack of choice that was enforced upon people in need. The lack of choice in how one could feed themselves and how one could feed their child. It felt like their dignity was being stripped away. And that became one of the first things that I wanted to change, starting with our amazing meal kit service, where every other week we'll text our members a selection of 20 seasonal recipes. They pick up to 3, and each serves 2 people. We will buy our ingredients from local and small-scale producers to help create a more resilient local food system, and our volunteers will pre-weigh the ingredients and deliver the box straight to the member's door with some easy-to-follow recipe cards. One member said, "I'm eating more and I'm eating better, so I'm less depressed." It's so nice to think that people took the time to make this for me. It feels like a gift. And when you don't have family here, it makes me feel like I'm less alone. This member has been with us for 3 years. Often she hasn't engaged, but we knew she came from an abusive background and struggled with PTSD. And sometimes that would display in erratic behavior. But we stayed with her throughout the multiple house moves, the disconnected phone numbers, and the lack of responsiveness. We were a constant in a period of instability. And one day, when we send out a broadcast about what's coming up next in our community kitchen, she signed up to our Nourishing Confidence cooking course. She graduated from the course, got a qualification, and has since come to our supper clubs and other community events, and even offered to volunteer to help pack meal kits. Which brings me to the final pillar, community. Community building for us is about creating a safe space, an environment where people are supported to thrive and participate. Through our amazing meal kit membership, our education, community, and outreach events, we aim to tackle the feeling most prominent within our young people. The feeling of isolation, of loneliness, and of exclusion. And we do this by showing consistently that we are here. Our community kitchen is here. And when they feel able, we will welcome them with open arms. Although the core of Mazi has stayed the same, what I've realized over the journey is that it's not our food provision model that is unique. It is our community of young people. It is being guided by the ever-changing needs of our members and not solely by the desired outputs of funders, councils, and governments. It is prioritizing our community's happiness, their voice, and their confidence. Some of the words that the young people used to describe since being with Mazi were loved, inspired. I feel like I can be a better parent, confident. Food for us is our tool, the catalyst that we harness to build relationships and trust with a group often difficult to engage and reach. So today I'm asking, how can we invest in our marginalised youth? How can we demonstrate that they are loved, that they are cared for? Because this is a chance to break intergenerational poverty. And together, we can make every young person feel loved through food. Thank you.